keep all that. Shh. Shh. We're live now.
Simmer down, simmer down.
Simmer down now. We were just talking about the book crawl, which happened over the weekend. So last weekend was the LA Times Festival of Books, but this weekend was the San Diego book crawl. 13 stores participated. I think though over the weekend was I don't know day sales, but we competed with Christmas, the day before Christmas with sales.
Are you kidding me?
No,
That's crazy.
it
These
was
the same way. These was
Yeah.
the same way. And that was last year. That was their best. I think it was like their best day until like the 23rd of December.
right. So that's where we were
A
at.
monster day for some sure.
Monster. So thank you if anybody's watching that did the book crawl. Thank you for doing it. It's a passion project of the 13 stores that Amanda, who's in the background, she represents Warwick's in the committee and does a great job. And I was telling her, and I talked to Scott a little bit today about it. It's such a great coalition of the bookstores and this kind of grassroots community thing. Oh, I kind of like the orbs there, Andrea.
Yeah, I don't. It's just it's book fairy stuff.
I love it. I love the orbs are visiting us today. You have lots of that's all good. Anyway, so the book crawl was great. Because we have bookstores that are, well, we try to get people to come to 13 stores, and because we're spread out all over the county, we don't just do it on Independent Bookstore Day. So it's a 3-day affair. So we concluded today was the last day, but it was fun. All the staff who worked on Saturday said it was bananas and said it was super fun. You were in the store. Gabe was recognized as a celebrity. Is that Tea Time, Gabe?
I kept my mask on for a reason. I didn't want to be mobbed.
Gabe.
Tea Time. Is that Gabe from Tea Time? A celebrity in your own right. Love
That's
it.
pretty cute.
I love it. So, all right, we've got some really good releases coming tomorrow. So I can't wait to hear. So let's get going. So it's going to go Gabe, Steve, Andrea. So 1 second here. Gabe, take it away.
All right. I am going to start with a book that goes on sale tomorrow.
Oh, I can't wait for this one.
Really a fun read. Jasmine Elani Cakes, who is a Hawaiian gal. She is a mixed Hawaiian race, and she's part like Germanic and part Hawaiian. And the protagonist in this story is also from Hilo, and is also a young woman who grows up in this very traditional Hawaiian home. Where the hula is, Hulu, my God, what am I doing here? I gotta correct that. Where hula is a big deal, and it's part of your cultural identity. And I think what we see at as Jasmine was explaining to me, what we see at the luau's is more of a commercialized South Pacific hula dance, and not the traditional hula of Hawaii, which I reading this book, I discovered is a lot like the native dancing of natives of the Southwest or Native American tribes. Same kind of thing. There's stories told, they're ritualistic. And so this story is immersed in the world of hula, and a young girl who's a little out of place because she doesn't know who her father is, but she's 100% Hawaiian, but not. So her identity is an issue, because even among the Hawaiians outside of her family, she's not fully Hawaiian because she's half white. So there's this whole identity issue, which it's going around as we become more, it's odd, as we become more cosmopolitan, and as we become more intermixed, intermingled, and intermarried, the identity issue is still there. You're neither here nor there. You have a foot in both camps, but kind of neither. So that story about that, it's also a story of colonialism. So this is not a really lightweight, fun, it is a fun read, but one of those lightweight Hawaii fun, sunshiny stories. There is the darkness of colonialism that's deeply embedded, and women and their place in a colonized world. Because when you're colonized, you colonize gender, you colonize the judicial system, you colonize the economy, you colonize education system. All that occurred in Hawaii, and it's our one of our last two states, and it admitted into the union, and still, there are the relations of what is Hawaiian and what is American, and all that cultural stuff. Anyways, a really terrific, in all that, a really terrific read. As we follow our character as she's looking to discover herself and try to figure out her life and who she is and her place in the world, which, kind of a lot of the universals in this book. Killer cover. I love this package.
It's a great cover.
So great.
Great package. And I love that the quote that you put on there from Kawhi Strong, his book, Sharks in the Time of Saviors or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you read this one and you want another great book on Hawaii, that's another really good one too. So yeah, I think that we've got her coming to the San Diego Festival of Books in August. So
August.
Look out for her for that and that too. So good one. Yay. All right, Steve.
Okay, well, Gabe, that sounds great. That really sounds like
There's a lot of meat in
wonderful
here.
book.
A
Yeah.
lot of meat in here. I discovered. I was not expecting such a layered read in this book.
And I love anything historical novel that tears down colonialism and all the fucked up things that came from it.
Oh, yeah, rebel Steve.
Oh yeah. Well, it is International Workers' Day today.
Oh,
so
okay.
yes.
It is indeed.
Labor, baby.
Power to the people.
Yay, power.
Labor.
All
You
right.
guys are killing
Well,
me. Okay.
my first title came out I think a week or so ago. It's David Grann's
Oh, we are selling that like hotcakes,
The
man.
Wager.
Fly
It
on.
is selling like hotcakes.
And if you don't know David Grann, I don't know what planet you've been on, because he's the author of Killers of the Flower Moon. He wrote Lost City of Z, but Killers of the Flower Moon is what kind of brought him to prominence. That's going to be a movie coming out very soon, a Martin Scorsese film, and that book is incredible. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about his newest, The Wager. And this is about, it's a big sea adventure in the 18th century. This ship, The Wager, it's part of a fleet from the British Admiralty sent to, Britain's at war with Spain at this time, and this ship is part of this fleet that's going to hunt down the Spanish ship. There's one in particular, this one galleon that just loaded with jewels and precious everything that they want to take away from some of the Spanish. So the Wager gets lost from all the other ships, and meanwhile they're going through the most horrific scurvy. I mean, all the things that can go wrong on a ship are going wrong on this boat. They're lost. The disease is rampant, and people can't work. They're short on crew, and yet this captain, Captain Cheap, he is determined to catch, to get to this Spanish galleon and complete the mission. He is determined, no matter what is going wrong, and he's getting, his top crew, his gunner, his gunner, who's the most experienced guy on the ship, keeps saying, this is stupid. We shouldn't do this. We're about to go around Cape Horn near Patagonia, which is the most dangerous place for ships anywhere. And yet the guy insists on going, and they get shipwrecked. And pretty soon they divide into two separate camps. There's the mutineers, and then there's Captain Cheap and his guys. And it's a little bit like Lord of the Flies, but with adult seamen. And it's just horrible things happen. Lots of fighting between the crew, stealing supplies from each other. And eventually the ship with the mutineers arrives, I can't remember why, somewhere near South America. They're all emaciated. They get there, and hey, we survived this horrible wreck, everyone else died. Well, shortly after that, Captain Cheap and his few remaining guys, they get to safety. And then the whole thing becomes a big hoo-ha in England, a big court-martial trial ensues, and it's just a really great, like Patrick O'Brien kind of sea adventure. Now, that's
That sounds
major.
amazing. And Captain Cheap, I mean, there's
Right?
yeah, there's definitely some Victorian era writing going on there. Like, love that.
Yep.
Um,
And Kim, who's on here, she's finished it. She listened to it in audio. So she said it
Ah.
was really good. She said it was beautifully read in audio. And Beth Johnson, who's on here, says he's coming to Cleveland next week for a ticketed event. And is it worth it? Yes.
Yes.
Seeing David Gran is definitely worth it. He's so charming in person too. And he's just not unassuming, and I adore him. So yes, I would definitely go see him.
sound- I
One
mean,
s-
sounds so
one s-
great.
Side note is one of the crew members who keeps a diary his name is John Byron, and he's related to Lord Byron. You know, he's from the same family, and he's 17, I think, when this starts off. But his account is one of the most important things that as evidence that comes to the trial when they have that.
Yeah.
It's
No,
just
I-
interesting. Yeah.
It's just, and it's something that what I love about David is he picks up these little kernel, like, it's like, who knew that this story was out? It's just like, and it becomes fascinating, and you like can't get it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, how did we not know about this? And this
Yes.
is so great. Yeah, I love it. So Gabe, Beth's on here too. She read the London Seance Society that actually Beth Doherty recommended. So she loved that too.
Oh, good.
And Beth, I love that you love Trespasses. It's my favorite book last year.
Everybody's favorite.
I think it's up for, I think she's a finalist on the Women's Prize. I think.
That's what I think she is too.
Yeah. So
Should have got more attention. I think it's still kind of under,
it's under a radar.
I think it's under radar still, in spite of like everybody I've talked to that I've recommended, and it's just
Yeah.
everyone's loved it.
I know. So good. Okay, Andrea, what do you got for us?
Sounds like that crew needed to organize a la International Workers' Day. I'm gonna give one quote in honor of International Workers' Day from Mother Jones, who was called the most dangerous woman in America by one of our more rapscallion presidents. It's the setup. She goes into a jail. So I visited a man in jail and asked him why he was there. He said he stole a pair of shoes. I told him that if he stole a railway, he'd be a United States United States senator. Messed that up, but anyway, you get the
Get the gist.
yeah. She was amazing, and helped get the 7-day work week and children, like anti-child work. Bills passing that. So amazing person. Anyway, where am I? I need to pull up this beautiful cover for an amazing book.
Is it what I think it is?
Yes, if I can find it. What's going on? Come on.
Amanda put a link to Mother Jones' Wikipedia page on the Facebook link, so everybody could read
Okay,
about
thank
Mother
you.
Jones.
Files. Well, this is weird. Okay.
That's it.
This is the book. This is a galley of a publishing event, The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese. This is the second book following Cutting for Stone, that of course was an international bestseller and beloved by all. Anybody who's read this so far feels that this is just as good or better, loves this book. It is a May Indie Next pick. And most anticipated book already from the likes for the spring, from the likes of the New York Times, Washington Post. Let me see, I've got my notes here. Minneapolis Star Tribune, Oprah Daily. It got Publishers Weekly says it's in the top 10 for summer reading. Literary Hub, CBS Sunday Morning, Town and Country, Book Page, Entertainment Weekly. So you can see the array extends from a lot of off the book page love, literary, magazines and critics, as well as commercial outlets. So there's a lot of love for this book. There was 4-starred pre-pub reviews. That's great. 4-starred,
It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't really happen that often. And this is based on some memories of Verghese mother that she was relaying to her granddaughter about growing up in southern India, where there is a large population of Christians living amongst Hindus, and then there's not that many Muslims in that area, so mostly Hindus and Christians living together. It's 730 plus pages. It's a doorstop. And
Worth every page. Worth every page.
worth every page. I mean, the writing is just unbelievable. And it's an epic intergenerational tale about a family that is they try to keep secret what they call the condition, which is something that happens once in every generation. It leads to tragedy. And this book explores that, but also explores the cure to that and how to remain strong, united, and how to cultivate and protect love in the face of tragedy. It's absolutely gloriously written. The character development is amazing. Let me see if I've got any quotes here. Danny Shapiro says, this majestic sweeping story of family secrets, their curse, their legacy, and their cure is intimate and profound. Abraham Verghese takes us on a journey across nearly a century and more than one continent, all the while dazzling with his rich, elegant prose. Verghese is a literary legend at the height of his extraordinary powers. And I couldn't agree more. I know that you want to talk about this book, Julie, and also on publication day, which is tomorrow, there is going to be a major endorsement that no one knows about, but we were told to tell everybody. So batten down the hatches, everybody. It's going to be a pretty exciting day for the Covenant of Water.
I can't wait. No, it is everything you said and more, Andrea. It truly is. It is a feat. It is one of those publication events that's happening. And he, on top of everything, is the most wonderful gentleman you'll ever want to meet, which you'll have an opportunity to do that on June 5th. We're hosting him in San Diego at the University of San Diego. So if you are anywhere near the area of San Diego, or if you want to fly in from somewhere, he's worth seeing. He's definitely worth seeing. He's just an amazing man. The book is incredible. It's a big book, but and Kim on here is actually reading. She's halfway through an arc and savoring every page. And that's exactly what you do, is you just kind of savor his story and his storytelling, because he doesn't write very often.
No. Here's the cover, just so you can see a better shot of the cover
Yep.
here. Really beautiful. And
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
yeah, we're so excited that this book is coming out, and I think it's going to sell for a long time. I don't think that I'm not going to say anything else. I don't want to curse it.
Nope, don't curse it. And I don't think you can curse it. But there was a great write-up, I think, that Amanda linked to. I think it was in the New York Times, I think, the book review, I think. Anyways, it's sometimes we gush about stuff and it's just like you said, you don't want to curse it, but it's Abraham Verghese.
Yeah.
He's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, like Kirkus review says, by God, he's done it again.
Yeah.
Publishers Weekly, breathtaking, a literary landmark, library journal. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, across the board, all different kinds of reviewers love it. So that's a good sign.
Yep, it's good. And Steve, I'm looking on the comments here. Beth Johnson meant to tell you that she bought Signal Fires by Danny Shapiro. She loved it and already got another copy for somebody else. So there you go.
That makes me very happy. And we've
There you
heard Danny Shapiro's name twice.
I know. So Danny Shapiro's been talking here. So yeah, I love it when you guys all tell us like what books you've read and stuff. It makes you guys happy who are here coming in, right? Gabe, I don't know.
Kind of why we do it.
Kind of. All right. Thanks, Andrea. I just can't wait. I can't wait for the event. I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait for what we have a whole event shelf dedicated to him tomorrow. So can't wait. Yay. All right. Gabe, what do you got next?
So I've got a first novel to share with you, Homebodies by Tembi Denton Hurst. Most anticipated book of 2023 by Owl, Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, Them, Bustle, and the Millions. So these are all the media outlets that got their finger on the pulse and are actually interested in literature and keep their eye out for provocative writings for their audiences. So I think that's a pretty healthy lineup of endorsements for the every person.
Yep.
The basis of this story is Mickey Hayward is a young Black woman working in media in New York City, and she has left her home in Maryland, and as far as she's concerned, her career is on its way. She's getting all worked up about this project that she's working on that's going to launch her, and she gets word through the grapevine that they're actually looking for a replacement for her. So in response, she leaves the place, writes this manifesto about how she had been, all the mistreatment she received as a woman of color in the media industry. And it's met with complete silence. Nobody cares. So she's like, what the hell? So maybe I go home and you start all over. Like that's what people do. So she heads back home, got to figure out what her next move is. Because she's got no savings because it's New York. She breaks up with her girlfriend there and runs home and kind of takes up her old life, which is really simple. And she starts to get comfortable. She hooks up with her old girlfriend and life is all right. It's simple. And maybe she's not going to stray far. And then the bomb comes out as dropped of the racial issues and misbehavior of her former boss at the magazine. Now, all of a sudden, her manifesto is widely read by everybody everywhere. And she's a hit and she's relevant and she's become this go-to person. And what does that all mean as her life is completely turned upside down as she's catapulted into the limelight? So it's really funny. Tembi has a really great sense of humor. It's a really well-written book. It's a really good first novel. It's a first novel, and there's elements of it that are of a first novel, which is some freshness to it. Some first novels are really fun to read because there's something about them, and this what I felt about this book here. But a great voice. Tembi's got a really brisk, crisp voice. It comes across really well. She's funny. She's poignant. I think she hits a lot of spots in this book. So it's Homebodies, and check her out. We're excited. It's a fairly aggressive print run, and she's writes for like the New York Magazine, and she freelances all over the place. So
Speaking, it sounds like a Danny Shapiro, like Danny Shapiro. Sounds like we're going to bring Danny Shapiro back into this. All right, Steve.
All right, next up, this book comes out tomorrow in paperback. It's Kate Atkinson's Shrines of Gaiety, her last novel. It's set in the 20s in London. One of the main characters, her name is Nellie Coker. She runs all these very hip clubs in the city, each with their own kind of theme. And she's just gotten out of jail at the beginning of the novel, and she's been mixed up with mobsters and crooked police, and it's a succession story. Like she has all these kids, and who's going to take over the empire after she's gone, because she's getting on. And then there's a story of two girls have gone missing, hoping to become famous on the stage in London, and they came from York, and a young librarian comes, as a friend of the family to find them. And she hooks up with a detective and they're searching for these girls. So it all mixes together. She's so good at plot and character, but this is just a plot that, or a story you just want to keep reading and find out what happens next. And yeah, it's Kate Atkinson. one
It's
of my
Kate
favorites.
Atkinson.
Yeah.
That's all you got to say, because it's like
I
life
shouldn't-
after
yeah.
life. It's
Yeah,
like,
life
no,
after life.
yeah, she's so good. And so
Wonderful writer.
good solid pickup and a read. So I
Yeah.
love that. Yep. Won't be disappointed. Okay, Andrea.
All right. Okay, my second one up is also out tomorrow. This author is also a international bestseller, including the New York Times, but for a very different kind of book. He is the author of The Hidden Life of Trees, plus several other volumes. This is his latest. He is German, but is translated by a very amazing translator from Canada, Jane Billinghurst. So this writing is really crisp, right on, does not read like it's in translation, which is nice. This book discusses new discoveries about how trees pass on vital information as they get older to little seedlings that then pass it on generation by generation. And it's just sort of survival strategies that they pass on through their tree language. And so this again celebrates the resiliency of trees as as a species, but it also talks about it's critical and unsparingly so towards people who do a little bit of virtue signaling and plant trees, a lot of trees, but then basically use them all, consume all of those trees, that sort of thing, and ruin our environment. He has no truck with those folks. And the thing that is really key here and that he talks about is trees can survive without humans, but we can't survive without trees. And just really talks about the urgency of the necessity of us coming together and to cooperate to make sure that we help preserve the last stands of old growth. Right now we're at the brink. There's a tipping point that could occur anytime now in the Amazon rainforest, and so he discusses that. And it's just brilliantly written as usual. And I mean, I just think he's our greatest global advocate for trees, bar none. This is a $28.95 hardcover. It's from our friends up above the United States in Canada. They're from the west coast of Canada, and it's Greystone. They do some great nature books, as we know, and some great kids books too.
Yep. And I just, especially for Warwick's customers, especially all the books that have to do with the trees and the forest, and we can't get enough of them. So any more stories that we tell on those, it's always a good thing to bring up to our friends, to our customers. Okay, I gotta talk about a book that's coming out tomorrow. My first book would have been Andrea's book, so that's the endorsement of Covenant of Water. The book I want to talk about that's coming out tomorrow is and we've hosted her. She was a Reese Witherspoon pick for her last book, and this one I can't wait for you all to. What's happening? Oh, my screen share isn't working. Oh well, never mind. I'm not going to show you a picture, but I'll talk about it. It's Erica Bauermeister, and Amanda will put it in the Amanda will put it in the comment section. It's Erica Bauermaster's book called No Two Persons. And if you love books about books, you're going to love this book, because I personally, obviously, as book people, we love books about books, but this one's told in such a unique way. I love it. It's this one person's story of her brother that she writes a book about, but how it enters all these different people's lives. So from it getting discovered off the slush pile of the agent to a person that was going to review it. I mean, it's just all these people that this book touches throughout the story. It's such a great book. It's so clever. The booksellers that have read the advanced copies, we have a few of them at the store. They're just like, it's just such a good book. So No Two Persons, Erica Bauermaster. That's out tomorrow, and she will be at the store next Thursday. If you're interested, if you're in San Diego, and we're doing a luncheon with her too, I think on Friday. So anyways, No Two Persons, love it. Okay, Gabe, lightning round.
Lightning. My middle name.
Is it really though?
Come on. All right, you got me in a lie.
Never mind.
Okay. So Hotel Cuba by Aaron Hamburger. I've never read Aaron Hamburger, never heard of Aaron Hamburger until I read this book. It's a paperback original from Perennial, which is our literary paperback imprint. We have various imprints that do various things, and Perennial always brings really interesting some things in translation, other things from around the country at different ages and levels. I mean, we started publishing Tessa Hadley at Perennial as a paperback original, 2 novels and a short story collection before we took her in hardback. And she'd been publishing short stories forever. But so it's a really strong imprint, and there's always something interesting. And this is the one that really popped. I have a couple, but I have 2 of them releasing at the same time. I went with Aaron Hamburger's book. Really interesting. It takes place in the period between the 2 wars, World War I and World War II. And it is 2 sisters that are from this Polish shtetl, small village, and they emigrate. They're coming to the States. You know, that's everything's a mess. The revolution of Russia has really extended itself, and it's pushing borders. That part of Europe is a complete mess. And so they decide they're going to flee to America. And it's Pearl and Frida, and they go to Cuba, and then they wait for their papers, and they go to America. But of course, various periods in our history have been overrun by the xenophobes, and so due to racist policies that were in place at the time or were rushed into place, they weren't allowed, so they were turned back at Ellis Island and sent back to Cuba, where they had to readjust their expectations about getting to America. And as their life became settled there, their plans getting to America became more complicated. So it's new world for them. It's Prohibition Cuba, just 90 miles from Florida, at a time where it is really, really popping. So one of the sisters is gay, and she is kind of liberated in this world, and the other one marries the not so dreamy man of her dreams, as he's described, and kind of gets stuck there. So doesn't sound like a lot goes on, and it really is just these 2 lives as they're progressing through this historical period in time, and being who they are. It's a real reflection on society, and the 2 sisters reflecting on each other. I just thought he did a really brilliant job, so I'm recommending it. Hotel Cuba, Aaron Hamburger goes on sale tomorrow.
I just think that there's still the mystique of Cuba that everybody loves to peek inside of that world. So it sounds good.
Yeah, a lot of history in Cuba, a lot of fun in Cuba, it seemed like.
Yeah. It's got such, opposing things going on. So love it. All right, Steve, lightning round for you.
I think you're muted, bro.
Sorry about that. Next up for my lightning round pick is an author I adore, and most people haven't discovered her yet, even though she's written a few things. Her name's Katherine Heiny, and this is a collection of short stories. She's had a couple novels, Standard Deviation and Early Morning Riser, and another short story collection. She's just hilarious. She's one of the funniest writers out there. Her characters are great. I've read a couple of these short stories. The first one is about a driving instructor, and she says, I thought I would do this. One day I was thinking, at some point, Jeffrey Dahmer, he must have gotten his license and taken a driver's test, and somebody was in that car with him
Oh my
during that
God.
test. So these are the kind of thoughts, she gets her and then she does a short story or something like that. So I don't have too much more to say about it, but she's, if not this book, pickups, Standard Deviation, or the last one that just came out, which now I said, but now I can't remember. Early Morning Riser.
Mhm.
She's a delightful treat. And Katherine Heiny.
Yeah, I remember you talking about Early Morning Riser, and everybody was all about that book. So if you want a book, a novel, I think pick that one up too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep. All right. Beth Doherty's on here, says she loves Katherine Heiny. So you have a Katherine Heiny fan already on here. All right, Andrea.
Okay, now this is a book that from a writer that I know that you've enjoyed in the past, Billy O'Callahan,
Oh,
Julie, and oops.
okay, another one. Where's my friend David with Godine? Where is my copy of this?
Well, I think he was busy selling a lot of and setting up a lot of events for Joan Baez.
Oh,
of
okay.
late.
I guess I'll give him a hall pass on that then.
Yeah, but I can get you a copy of this.
I adore Billy O'Callahan. He's
This
so
guy-
good.
This guy can write a sentence like nobody's business. I mean, he's just a an Irish writer, a lover of Irish literature writer. Just incredible. And this is based, I love the cover too.
Mhm.
This is a historical novel based on a real life story. A guy named, what's his name? Matthias Sindelar, and he was a soccer player during World War II. And this is set in between Austria in the wartime era, and then 1980s Ireland. And he speaks out very strongly against Hitler, falls in love with a Jewish citizen of Austria, and then mysteriously is found dead in his apartment. Well, we can, it's sort of the scenario of people in Russia falling out of windows, right? Who go against Putin. It's the same sort of thing, but it is a mystery. No one really knows whatever happened to him. And so we get all the atmospheric setting of wartime Vienna and other parts of Austria, and then move to 1980s Ireland when Sindelar's son, who never knew him, is trying to piece together what happened to him and figure it out, and just learn a little bit more about the father he never knew. Really great. And yeah, I mean, and you can kind of see my notes here, for readers of Cole Tobin, Sebastian Barry, John Banville, Alan Fersen, William Trevor. And look at that. O'Callahan's storytelling is magnetic. Another PW starred review for that guy. He just racks up the starred reviews. And he's just, I mean, the last book that they did with him, that blew my mind. I mean, I just read the first.
Life
2 pages.
sentences.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
so good. So
And-
good.
and I read the first 2 pages and I was completely captivated. I mean, I was just like, well, I have to read the whole thing now. Even though I needed to go on to about 30 or 80 more manuscripts before going out to talk to booksellers. But there's those special books that you're just like, oh, I got to read the whole thing.
And he is one, and he is just, I do love my Irish authors though, I have to say.
He's
You
a
know,
good one.
he's a good one.
This book, I picked up a galley at Winter Institute, one of the 2 things I brought home from Winter Institute.
Wait a
Kofi
minute, it was
White
a Winter
and-
Institute? How did I miss it? I missed that and I missed the Lauren Groff. How did I miss Billy O'Callaghan?
Well, I have a finished copy that I can send you now.
That's all right. I
mean,
can get one from the store. I can get it from the store. That's okay. But how did I miss it? Okay, I want to talk about one. We've talked about going back to like old favorites and things, and I'm not sure why this one popped up to me, but Iceland is still something that fascinates everybody. People are taking vacations there, the whole bit. If you haven't read Burial Rites by Hannah Kent, put it on your list. It's not about traveling to Iceland at all, but it's about the last woman that was executed in 1860 something, Magnus daughter, I think her name was. So it's based on the true story. So the ending. But honest to God, up until the last, so she's convicted of brutally murdering her master, but there's a reason why in this whole story about what happens. And up until the last moment of that book, you're just captivated and rooting and like, no, they're not going to do this. It's a fantastic book. So if you're looking for Burial Rites, it's a paperback. It's a fantastic read. So anyways, that's my lightning round choice for you. So we didn't even talk about the postcard, Andrea. We're going to need to talk about that next time. There's just so many good books that are out. There's so much happening. We've got Louise, everybody's got new books coming out this spring. And so I just can't wait to keep sharing good books with you all. So happy reading. Everybody have a good book. Even though the weather's getting better, just go sit outside in some pretty weather and bring a book with you. So, all right. Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody. Thanks for being here.
Bye, everybody.